What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks Game 4 reaction as the Chicago Bulls once again lose in very embarrassing fashion in the United Center, giving these fans little to nothing to cheer about on home court as we waste away our opportunities in this NBA playoffs, and I guess it's surely gonna come to an end in Milwaukee. It looks like I think this team has very much given up, and they just don't have enough to compete with the Milwaukee Bucks even without Chris Middleton. That's very, very sad indeed. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. What are your chances looking like? What are our chances looking like for Game 5? Does this series end in Game 5? Those are the questions I have for you today as we talk about another humiliating loss at home, where we lost this game 119-95. Now, this game was definitely not worse than Game 3. Game 3, we pretty much got blown out from the very beginning. At least with this team, or at least with this performance, we could narrow it down eventually to 10 points. But then after that, Milwaukee went on miracle runs once again, showing that they couldn't be stopped, and they play the way that, in my opinion, we should be playing. Take away Giannis for a second. It's not just about Giannis, despite him having probably his best game of the series today. Their ball movement is so much better than ours, and Giannis literally said it. I watched the post-game interview with Giannis because at the end of the day, the Bulls commentary team, I don't know what happened to them, but they just weren't there today. And they were interviewing Giannis, and Giannis saying that ball movement is the key to success. When the ball moves, everybody gets a touch, everybody gets a feel, everybody feels involved. In this game and with this team, ball movement is non-existent. You got guys like DeMar DeRozan or even Zach LaVine at times, despite him today. We'll talk about him today. I actually thought he was decent. But again, the ball is so stagnant, it's so still, it's so, I guess, glued to one person or two people within a play. It's ridiculous to a point that we should focus on the bench, focus on other starters outside of the big three, and expect them to play well every single time, because the ball is just not going to them. And unfortunately, once again, it reflects in our performance today. 95 points for the Chicago Bulls. 3 out of the 4 games we failed to score 100 points. So Milwaukee's clearly doing something well on the defensive end as well. But our ball movement has been shocking, and unfortunately, it looks like the Chicago Bulls have kind of bowed out of this series too early. It looks like they've given up. It looks like they don't have enough. It looks like the talent levels are just simply not there for the Chicago Bulls. And I said in Game 3, if this is the performance that we're going to see, we're going to see a similar performance from Game 3 to Game 4. The United Center, NBA playoffs, home court advantage, first time in 5 years, and you still don't give those fans something to cheer about with those 2 games. That makes me question the future of the Chicago Bulls team. I don't want this type of team that brought this type of performance, one of the worst performances in playoff history for the Chicago Bulls. It's still one of those performances with this game. I don't want to see that team be here next year doing the exact same thing. It's as simple as that. We need heavy adjustments in terms of this season, or next season, I should say. I'm not saying every single one of the big 3 needs to go, but my goodness, we got to do something. There needs to be something to be done, because whatever we saw with this team at the start of the season has not been sustainable at the end of the season. And outside of Lonzo Ball, which in my opinion, even if you bring him into this team, it doesn't change the issues that we have for the most part. Because at the end of the day, even when Lonzo Ball was here, he's not being used effectively enough. So there needs to be changes when it comes to coaching adjustments, when it comes to players in this team, to make this team a unified team that's actually got the talent as well as the ball movement to be successful. I don't think this team can do that. In all honesty, that's truly how I feel. If we came to this game, brought one hell of a fight, got players involved, players stepped up where we didn't expect them to, then maybe, just maybe, I'd have had a little bit of hope for next year when it comes to this team and this roster. Now, I see this roster staying the same next year, but I honestly don't think it should be. But at the end of the day, we can't just be trading people for the sake of trading people. We gotta have the right deal in place to bring in the right type of players. And those might be very difficult to do, in all honesty, with how these Bulls players are performing. They're lowering their value every step of the way with these types of performances. So, enough about the playoffs. Let's talk about the actual game as well. I said from the very beginning, I said from before the playoffs, I said in Game 3, I'm going to say it now, and I'm fairly certain I said it in either Game 1 or Game 2. If we allow the Milwaukee Bucks to take open shots from the three-point line and we try to match them in the same way, we will lose that battle. I've heard a bunch of people say that we should be letting Milwaukee shoot threes. Absolutely not. And 2 games has now really made us pay with how we've let them shoot the three. It's as simple as that. We don't have the people available or capable to outshoot Milwaukee. We never have. We probably won't for a long, long time. They had amazing three-point shooters, and to be fair, some of those three-point shooters you never expect to get the amount of points that they got, like Grayson Allen. I think he had his career high or season high, whatever it is, in terms of his points, and you don't expect that from a guy like Grayson Allen. He definitely made a huge impact with the Milwaukee Bucks, but it's not just him, it's everybody on this team. We allowed them to shoot threes, and they made us pay once again. We don't have Lonzo Ball, a 40% three-point shooter on this team at the moment. We don't have Zach LaVine, a healthy Zach LaVine, that can shoot those lights-out three-pointers at the moment. Obviously, DeMar's not a three-point shooter. Vucevic shoots way too much threes and shoots a very low percentage almost every single game. Maybe except for game 2, I think it was 4 from 8. But other than that, he's been awful from the three-point line. Kobe White has not answered the challenge in terms of the three-point shooting. So at the end of the day, we don't have the shooters necessary. And we made this a shooting battle and we lost the shooting battle. It's as simple as that. How many times did you see Vucevic in the paint today? And that brings me to another point. How many offensive rebounds did we get today as a team for the Chicago Bulls? Not very many. Outside of a Patrick Williams putback dunk, I did not see many offensive rebounds. And do you want to know why we don't see that many offensive rebounds? Because our center is too in love with the three-point line to participate with anything involving the paint. It's so frustrating to see. And again, I understand you want spacing for Zach LaVine. You want spacing for DeMar DeRozan. You want to make sure that the lanes are wide open. But they're playing 3 bloody centers, man. They're not going to get open. The corners are the only shots that are really going to be open for the Chicago Bulls team. They're playing 3 centers. The paint's always going to get clogged up. But if all of a sudden you got your 7-foot center that's there that can have a post hook, left or right side, has the most post hooks in the league, and then he comes into the NBA playoffs and he's just a three-point shooter. If we want a guy to shoot three-point shots, go out in free agency and get the best three-point shooter you have available at your disposal. Vucevic should not be the main three-point shooter of this team. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, and it's a waste of effort. And if that's seriously what we're going to see out of Vucevic next year, in my opinion, that's the one that I want to leave the Chicago Bulls. I need a center that is going to play physical in the paint. Even if he's less talented, even if he's less physical, even if he's less of anything, I need a center that's going to be able to play in the paint, especially score in the paint as well. And Vucevic doesn't do that enough, and I think it's the coaching staff more than just him as well, which brings a lot of credit, I guess a lot of criticism into Billy Donovan as well, which definitely, in my opinion, the way that Vucevic played today is full credit on Billy Donovan as well. He deserves a lot of that critique that he's going to get from today's game, and I need a center that's going to play more physical than that. And I kind of went on a tangent. I don't really remember what I was actually speaking about outside of Vucevic. I was talking about the three-point shots, definitely. But also, we put too much respect into Giannis's name. He got double-teamed almost every single time he got on the floor today. And he still had 32 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists in the game. But when it comes to Giannis, if he's the only one beating you, you will take that every single time. Giannis can't play 48 minutes, and there's going to be some times where he gets into foul trouble. We paid way too much respect to Giannis, and we did not pay enough respect to the rest of their team, which is the result of them making us pay from the three-point line. If we made this a paint battle, I truly feel like we had enough as a team to beat Milwaukee in the paint. And we saw it in game 2. They made great adjustments. They played a bigger lineup. Billy Donovan, again, critiqued in today's game, did not match them and did not play bigger in this game. And it's almost a very identical game. We fought very well in some instances. We got it to 10-point deficits. But for the most part, this team was just outmatched and outclassed. And then we saw the Bulls give up once again. The mental barrier I was talking about started to present itself. But I'm going to look at those individual performances again today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to look at, once again, what went wrong and what went right for this Chicago Bulls team. And I'm not going to put the photos once again. I don't feel, again, it's 6 o'clock in the morning for me. This game was at 3 a.m. It's a terrible time for an Australian to watch a game like this. But nevertheless, I'm here. I'm making this video. I'm trying to be as, I guess, enthusiastic as possible despite the circumstances. And I want to tell you what I think went wrong for this Chicago Bulls team. So, I won't name everybody, but we're going to start off with Zach LaVine. I think he had 24 points and 13 assists in today's game. Now, when it comes to Zach LaVine, this is one of those games where I actually thought he played decent. This is the type of game that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable if we're going to give him a max type contract. But one game every now and then like this is not enough for a caliber of guy like Zach LaVine. So next game, I want to see a very similar performance. When Zach LaVine is shooting, I guess, even though his shooting was poor, let's be honest, I think it was 8 from 18. It's not the best by any stretch of the means. But at the end of the day, when you're not making your shots or when you're not shooting as good as you'd like, you got to make an impact in other ways. And 13 assists for Zach LaVine is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's point guard status. That's what Zach LaVine should be getting for the Chicago Bulls, especially if he's playing the majority of the time with the ball in his hands. That's the Zach LaVine I want to see. That's the Zach LaVine I'm happy to give the max contract to when he's finding other ways to contribute in the game, whether it's defensively or when it comes to assist-wise, playmaking, compared to just shooting the ball and being a good shooter. A good shooter alone in the NBA should not get a max contract. So that's where Zach LaVine has to do other things. And today, he playmaked well. His shooting wasn't always there, but at least he playmaked well. And he's by far the best player in today's game. And I think he's the only one that really comes up with much credibility in how the Bulls played. DeMar DeRozan. Again, when it comes to DeMar DeRozan, it's the same problem that Zach LaVine had a couple of games ago. When you're not scoring well, how are you going to make an impact? And I don't think DeMar DeRozan made an impact anywhere else outside of scoring 8 from 20 from the field today. So much for that game one vow that he'll never shoot 6 from 25 again. He'll never shoot like that again. Well, in today's game, I classify 8 from 20 shooting like that again. In all honesty, that's what I really feel. It's not as bad, but it's still pretty bad, especially for DeMar DeRozan's caliber of player. So, very upset with DeMar DeRozan. But, tell you who I'm more upset with, Nikola Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic shot 1 from 6 from the three-point line today. And, again, way too in love with the three-point line. It's so frustrating to see. At the end of the day, I don't mind our center that can shoot threes, occasionally shoot the 2-3 times a game. Maybe 4 if he's making them, 4 or 5. But really, 1 from 6, 3 from 10, 2 from 8. I'm sure I got them mixed up, but it's relatively the same. You get the idea. It's way too much. It's way too much. And I've got to be honest, I don't recall Brook Lopez shooting as much threes as I see Vucevic scoring. Simple as that, man. Again, maybe you could go look at the stats and I'll be wrong, but realistically, this is not a center that... I don't see any center doing this. Does Jokic do this as often as he does? Maybe. Look, honestly, I don't know. But Vucevic needs to learn that he's a 7-footer. He has size advantages on 80% of the league. And I think he could bully Brook Lopez. I honestly think he do. I don't think Brook Lopez is the strongest center out there. I don't think he's the best rim protector out there. And I see Vucevic as one of the top centers in the NBA when he's playing at his best. Probably one of the top 4, top 5. But this Vucevic, I would say half the league is better than him at the moment, which is so embarrassing. For a guy that's considered an all-star caliber player to be playing like that is an embarrassing moment for him, an embarrassing moment for the Chicago Bulls. And if, again, I said before, if he's going to be shooting 10 threes, 6 threes, and not making those threes, Vucevic is the one that I would choose personally out of the big 3 to get traded. But in all fairness, he had the best 3 games, most consistent games for the last 3. This is his worst game. It was 11 and 10. But still, that's our big 3. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And the regular season does play a factor in that as well. Alex Caruso ended up hurting his face. And in all honesty, for Alex Caruso, I think the season is over for you. I honestly would not return in Game 5. But again, I know he's a warrior, and if there's a chance, he will. But I just think it's best for him just to sit it out. It is what it is. We put our valiant effort in Game 2, but other than that, we've come up short. I think Alex Caruso needs to think about his longevity, and if he puts even more damage towards himself, then maybe next season could be that in jeopardy as well. I don't want to see Alex Caruso play in Game 5. I thought Io did an okay job stepping up in his place, made some big shots. Again, Chicago was really the only person cheering. The Bulls fans were cheering was Io in my eyes. That's what I really saw. Sometimes Patrick Williams as well. But yeah, other than that, I think Alex Caruso should probably miss Game 5. In all honesty, that's how I feel. Patrick Williams, this is the type of breakout game for him, 20 points and 10 rebounds. It was a good night for Patrick Williams. What else can you say on the situation? I like the fact that Patrick Williams was aggressive. I like the fact that he made an impact. And when he started to get it going, we just stopped going to him. He could have had more than 20 points in my eyes today, but we don't. This is another problem with the Chicago Bulls. We don't go with the hot hand. When Zach LaVine had his hot hand in today's game, it felt like we took a whole quarter to pass the ball to him once again. And the same goes with Patrick Williams. We give him the ball, he makes the shots, and then we stop going to him. And I think that's to blame on DeMar as well. I think DeMar's a big responsibility for that because he wants to be the ball handler. He wants to control the tempo, control the game, which is what he's there to do. But sometimes you got to let the players play. Go with the hot hand and run a play for the guy that's actually shooting on an efficient level. We never ever do that as a team. And you saw Milwaukee, the first thing they did in the game was keep passing it to Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis had a mismatch almost every single time he was on the floor. 3-point shots, post hooks, post fadeaways, pick and pops with a mid-range. Everything Bobby Portis made because they kept giving him the ball. Grayson Allen, same thing. Kept giving him the ball, kept knocking down shots. They went with the hot hand. And unfortunately, we just have a problem, again, a mental barrier that doesn't allow us to do that. And moving on to the bench, in my opinion, lost us this game very early. I believe at halftime we had 7 turnovers from our bench and only 5 points. I don't know what the ending is. I don't have the stats with me up at the moment right now, but that is very, very bad for the Chicago Bulls. And again, it makes me believe that this bench needs to be changed next season. The way that I see it, with DeMar DeRozan is going to stay on this team next year, we need a whole team of shooters. We honestly do. Outside of the center, we need a whole team of shooters. Lonzo's a shooter. Zach's a shooter. Kobe White, in my opinion, has not proven he can be a consistent shooter. So in my opinion, I don't really count him. You keep Io and Patrick in there. And then the rest of the guys needs to be shooters. Derrick Jones Jr., he made 2 threes today or 1 3 today. I would consider keeping him. But guys like Troy Brown, guys like Matt Thomas, guys like maybe a Tristan Thompson. I don't think Tristan Thompson should be here next year with how he's performing in the NBA playoffs. These types of guys, we need to get rid of them and get shooters into this team. We need to space the floor for these guys. And we need a center that can work in the post. And I think that's how we're going to get our success next season. We need a center that can be in the post, and we need to fill this team with shooters around DeMar DeRozan. So when he makes those passes, those 3-point shooters are ready to knock them down. That's the only way I see this team succeeding next year, in all honesty. I think we're going to see a very similar thing if we don't address the Chicago Bulls' problems and get some shooters into this team. And of course defense as well. But you got your defensive guys here. You've got your Alex Caruso's, you've got your Lonzo Balls, you've got your Patrick Williams, you've got guys on the bench that can probably do a job for you, like a Derrick Jones Jr. You can get more defenders in there. We would absolutely love more defenders in here. But at the end of the day, I really think we need to start filling this team with some shooters, some set shooters, some off the dribble shooters, something. We need some shooting in this team if we're going to compete for the future. Simple as that as well. And I think the bench almost single-handedly cost us that game before the big three, before the starters really did. I really thought the bench was the reason why we lost. So there we go. I think we need a better bench, and I think one of the big three probably has to go, and we need to really just try and fine-tune this team and adjust this team in an accordingly manner. But again, Game 5 maybe will change my mind. Again, if we win Game 5, that could definitely change my mind, and maybe we go to Game 6 with a little bit of confidence. But I honestly don't see that happening, and if we see a blowout performance in Game 5, then it already shows what I've been saying in Game 4. I think this team needs serious changes to compete in the Eastern Conference next year, or at least compete for a championship. If we want to stay the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, then we keep the team the way that it is, because we've seen this team is good enough to be the 6th seed. This team was good enough to be the 1st seed for the majority of the year. When it comes to what matters the most, the NBA playoffs, this team is not delivered. So if we want to be that mediocre 6th seed team that never gets further or never gets below, then this team is perfect for that. But if you want to compete for something, real changes have to be made. But yeah. Outside of that, I think I'm done with this video. Another rant. Again, it's 6 in the morning, 6:20 I think it is now. I'm so tired. I'm done. I want to sleep. And by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be around 7 o'clock. So, yay for me. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Sorry if this dampers your mood. Again, I can't believe your mood hasn't been dampened already from this performance. But if it hasn't and you've watched me and now your mood is dampened, I feel sorry. I apologize. But I only speak what's in my heart, what's in my mind, and I'm telling the truth when I say it. I'm not lying for the sake of positivity. I'm not lying just because a lot of Bulls fans have unbelievable faith, and full credit to you for having that faith, but that's just not me. If I don't have that faith, I will say I don't have that faith. And right now, I said it from Game 3, and I'm going to stick by it now. This Bulls team, if we got blown out again and we had a similar performance and we didn't try or we gave up somewhere at some point during the game, I was going to say I've lost that faith. And I've lost that faith. That's how I see it. So next game, they can prove me wrong. They have an uphill battle ahead of them. They're going to have to work their ass off. They're going to have to find a gear that they don't think they have. They're going to have to do so many things right if they're going to succeed. You're going to have to see a lot of adjustments. You're going to have to see the Bulls match up big with the Milwaukee Bucks. You're going to have to see Vucevic in the post and doing some damage from there. You're going to have to see DeMar DeRozan make more of an impact outside of scoring. And you also got to see him be more efficient. You're going to see Zach LaVine have to be a playmaker in this team, especially with Alex Caruso not being involved, most likely in my opinion, in Game 5. You're going to have to see Kobe and Ayo step up as guards because Alex Caruso will be out. You're going to have to see Patrick Williams get a 20 and 10 performance again to see this Bulls team compete. You're going to have to see the Bulls bench limit turnovers and score more as a collective unit. Can all of those things be done for the Chicago Bulls? I guess only time will tell. Maybe Milwaukee will come in and have a terrible game and that gives us a chance. But outside of that, I'm not really sure it can be done as a team. And that brings us to next season, obviously, which we'll talk about after Game 5 if we do end up falling out of the playoff series. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.